Hello, this is Gregory Jackson for GrabJack.com. Welcome back to my tutorial series on creating the framework for an adventure RPG hybrid in RPG Maker MZ. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use layers in GIMP to customize the color of our rock tile group so it can be adapted for any color need we may have. We're also going to be rebuilding the tile set to accommodate this. When we are done, we will have a tile set that includes 3 different color rock groups. This series is meant to be viewed in order and in its entirety, as I do not revisit how to do things covered in previous lessons. So to save yourself the frustration, please start this series from its introduction if you've not already done so. Otherwise, let's get started. If you did your homework, then you've got the junction tiles for the rock group. In this lesson, we'll also be looking at a much easier way of producing all 9 junction tiles. The homework assignment had you doing it a harder way, mainly to show how the 1x1 template can be used to produce single tiles as needed for a given circumstance. It helps to get alignment positioning on a per tile basis into your headspace. Open up the MZ project and GIMP. In GIMP, open grayrock.xcf. We're going to make a couple of modifications which will give this single element a lot more power. Make sure the Layers tab is selected. Double-click on where it says Pasted Layer and rename it to Rock Source. Right-click on Rock Source and then click New Layer Group. We now see a layer with a folder icon named Layer Group. Rename it to Rock. Now click and drag Rock Source up into Rock. Why did we do this? GIMP reads layers from the top down, but if you try to do a copy and paste action, it will only copy the selected layer. We use a layer group so we can select it and therefore make sure that all visible layer data is available when we do a copy-paste action. This will prove to be very useful when we start working with more complex elements. Before we do anything else, save this file in the work folder as rocksingle.xcf. We will now rebuild the gray rock section of the tile set. We'll start by creating a new file, 384 pixels wide and 192 pixels high, filled with transparency. We'll configure its grid spacing to 48 pixels, and make sure that the grid and grid snapping are turned on. Open 3x3 grayrock.xcf and 2x2 grayrock.xcf. Now open 3x3 template.xcf and turn on the grid and grid snapping. Using the rock layer in our new rocksingle.xcf, paste copies of it into 3x3 template in the indicated order and positions. That's the easy way to create all of the right angle junctions, and we're going to save it as rockjunctions.xcf so we'll have it as a resource. If we somehow mess up a tile set or a section we'll be putting into one, having these smaller group resources on hand will make rebuilding it a lot easier. Let's open 2x2 template.xcf and turn on the grid and grid snapping. Paste copies of Rocksingle's rock layer into 2x2 template in the indicated order and positions. Using the rectangle select tool, select and copy only this section and paste it as a new image. Save the new image as 1x2 rock.xcf. Switch back to 2x2 template.xcf, select and copy only this section, and paste it as a new image. Save this image as vmidrock.xcf. This rock tile serves the same purpose as the middle tile in 1x3 gray rock, which we will no longer be using. Back in 2x2 template.xcf, do a Ctrl-A to select all, press the Delete key to remove it, and do a Shift-Ctrl-A to select none. Paste copies of Rocksingle's rock layer in the indicated order and positions. Select and copy this area and paste it as a new image. Now save this image as 2x1 rock.xcf. Back in 2x2 template, select and copy only this area and paste it as a new image. Paste a copy of Rocksingle's rock layer into this image. It'll automatically be in the center where it needs to be. Now save this as hmidrock.xcf. This tile serves the same purpose as the middle tile in the 3x1 gray rock, which we will no longer be using. Now it's time to build the new rock group for the tile set by copying and pasting the resources we loaded and created so far in this lesson into that new 8x4 tile blank image we created. Put 3x3 gray rock here, put rock junctions here, put 2x2 gray rock here, put rock single here, put 1x2 rock here, put 2x1 rock here, put V mid rock here, and put H mid rock here. And that's our new tile group. Rename the background layer to rock source, add a new layer group, rename it to rock, and then move the rock source layer into it. Save the image as rockgroup.xcf. Now let's color those rocks, shall we? Right-click on the rock source layer and select Duplicate Layer. That adds a layer called Rock Source Copy above the original rock source layer. With that selected, click Colors at the top of the screen and then click Colorize. This brings up the Colorize window, and if you have Preview turned on like I do, the default color is applied to the rock source copy layer so you can see what the result will be. Click the color bar to bring up the color palette and play around with the settings until you find a brown color you are satisfied with, and then click OK to make it active in the Colorize window. Then click OK again to actually apply the color to the layer. So we've got brown rocks, but they are a little too brown. Right now, this layer's opacity is at 100%. If we reduce it, then the original rock source layer will become slightly visible. Triple-click the opacity value to make sure it is fully selected and change it to 75. Much better. Now go ahead and change the layer's name from Rock Source Copy to Brown Rock. Save the changes to rockgroup.xcf. The source graphics remain unchanged and we have a partially transparent brown layer. Both are part of the XCF file, so there is no need to save a separate brown rock group unless you want to. Now click the eye icon next to the brown rock layer to turn it off. Then duplicate the rock source layer again and repeat the process to get a shade of green you are satisfied with, adjust the opacity as needed, and rename it to Green Rock and save the changes again. Close everything except for rockgroup.xcf. No need to save the changes. Open tilesettemplate.xcf and turn on its grid and grid snapping. In rockgroup.xcf, make sure that both the brown and green rock layers are turned off. At the moment, that leaves us with just the rock source graphics showing. Select the rock layer, copy it, then paste it into Tileset Template here. In Rock Group, turn on the brown rock layer. Make sure the rock layer is selected, copy it, and paste it into Tileset Template like so. Turning the brown rock layer off and the green rock layer on, copy the rock layer again and paste it into Tileset Template under the brown rock tiles. And just like that, we've got 3 different colored rock groups in our tile set. Save this image as rocksandtrees.xcf. Next time, we are going to tackle the trees. Now I need to tell you that while the same process for building the rock group will be used for building the tree group, it must be done twice. The first time is for the tree trunks and the second time is for the tree tops. The treegroup.xcf file we will create in the next lesson will be set up so that the trunks and tops can be turned on and off independently of each other and colored independently as well. Turning the tops off will give you a dead tree group. Once we have our 4 tree groups in the tile set, we'll be heading back into MZ and we'll be focusing on laying out a demo overworld and begin populating it with secrets. No homework lesson this time. Instead, I leave you with a preview of where Lesson 6 will lead us. For GrabJack.com, this is Gregory Jackson. Thanks for watching.